A lot more.
I love what you've done with Pipehire too. I want to learn more about that and kind of how that's going. The direction that you guys are going in. Are
Sure.
you guys um, do you offer some sort of integrations? I mean, I know you can do anything and everything since I know how development works at this point. But is that what your guys' roadmap look like in
Sure.
terms of linking with other CRM systems, which you've probably thought about, right?
Yeah, we have this year a couple of big projects. One of them is Zapier integration,
Oh yeah,
which is the standard for everything. So some people want to do, text marketing campaigns to their
yeah,
applicants. So that's one of the first things we want to achieve this year is to provide people the ability to connect Pipehire to, like Gusto, their payroll provider,
yes,
or the CRM for booking. Any of that information, all of that is critical. Um, as far as the vision of the product, we have like three pillars to the product, which is hiring, management, and retention.
yeah.
Um, most people always talk about hiring, right? They never talk about managing those people, and they never
Manage.
even talk about retention of those people. So the product is built around those three pillars, and
Yeah,
hiring is really the part of distribution, putting your job on Google Jobs, ZipRecruiter, uh, you know, giving you a URL so you can share that URL with different systems, different job boards. So that's kind of that, tracking all of that in a funnel Kanban view and be able to see what's the stage of the employee or the applicant in your company. Is this person hired? Is this training? Is this person
right.
on onboarding? Is it fired? So all of that happens kind of in a Kanban view, and then you organize that process. And since this is where we spend most of the time growing or cleaning companies, that's why we made that funnel Kanban view. And that's
Yeah,
kind of the core of the hiring part. Then the management part is really about taking care of these people with reminding, about birthdays, anniversaries,
yep,
tracking complaints, tracking compliments, tracking, keeping records of all their, doctor's notes. So,
yeah,
any HR documents, payroll documents, anything that's documents related to HR, we want to store them for the companies. So we provide them like a Google Drive on the system so they can store this information because most of our Google Drives are full. So that's kind of the management component. The employees get notifications on their phone saying, hey, great review. This is the job. This is what the customer said about you. Or here's a complaint. This is the reason of the complaint. So we want to keep
yeah.
employees informed of their good job or their bad job. This is very important so they can manage next day and say, okay, I've been, not doing a great job. Let me correct this Windows the way I'm doing it.
Let me adjust.
And
Yeah,
yeah, and adjust. Some companies expect or wait, I don't know, like 2 weeks or a month to meet the employee in person and say, hey, look, your windows are not done correctly. And then
yeah.
a month has passed by and now he's done 20 jobs with this problem. So we want to
Angry
really
customers. Yeah.
manage, yeah,
Hmm.
and lose customers. So we really want to manage those employees right from day one. And when
Yeah,
you
absolutely.
manage them correctly and the expectations are correctly of what the company is expecting, what, all of this, and then that's when you then jump into the retention component, which is, how long can we keep this person happy in the company? And at least, in my opinion, 3 years for us at my company, it's a good number.
Yeah.
There's people that have passed that, but I noticed that this job is really a stepping stone into something else for most people.
Yes. Yep.
they
Exactly.
they, they go in taking finally another career or whatever,
Yes.
but they're not going to clean forever, and you should expect that. People should expect 2-3 years if you're amazing, maybe 5 years if you're doing a great job, but people change jobs you know for multiple reasons. But I'm happy if we can get three years of a good
Out of
employee.
somebody. Yeah. Yeah. Me too.
That's a
Exactly.
good number. I'm happy because I know it's just life, and most people are expecting 10 years or something. That doesn't happen anymore. That used to happen in, I don't know, in the 90s or something, but not anymore. So, and the retention component also has these, we're working on a mobile app so we can engage with the employee. So, we're gonna ask them questions about how they feel about their job, if they will recommend this job to their, colleagues or friends and family. We want to ask them about, how they're feeling today. Maybe they're not going to show up to the job today. So we want to engage them with push notifications so the business owner can have a pulse on these
So amazing.
employees.
Yeah.
I don't know if you noticed, but sometimes an employee could say something in a meeting to you face to face, but they're not going to tell you the whole story.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because different reasons, and I've noticed that people will always have one mask in front of me as an owner, and then they will remove their mask when talking to their colleagues or
Yes.
somebody at the same level. So I said, what if I could anticipate people from quitting or seeing them kind of going downwards? And that's when the mobile app, the retention app for customers came about, is that I want to have like a dashboard of, I'm sure you heard of the net promoter score, but
Never
I call
mind.
it the employee promoter score. I want to see the
Yeah.
employee promoter score trending upwards, downwards throughout the months to see if I'm doing a great job. If this is
Exactly.
going
Yeah.
up, means my employees will stay with their company longer, and that I'm going to have great attendance. I'm going to have people show up every day to the job. And this allows our company to have better confidence in sales and, and do more follow-ups and feel more confident that the company is going to have enough people to fulfill all the jobs.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. I wish I had something like that, just because eventually, as we scaled, I stopped doing the personal one-on-ones, because
Yeah.
initially I realized, like, that's what I also was telling you when I do these quarterly, or back then monthly, sort of company check-ins. It's
Yeah.
like, no one really wants to speak up because I'm the one speaking. It's the same with these. I try to disarm as much as I can, but there's nothing you can do about the fact that it's different when you're talking to your coworker or someone else
Definitely.
that's not the owner. It's a different feeling, and I had to remove myself from doing those, just because I felt like it would be more beneficial if our operations
Yeah.
director, for example, does them, just because it's not me, and no one has to just keep quiet about an issue that they're having. They're probably more likely to express it to
Correct.
them, just like I probably would. I mean, I wouldn't want to speak to the owner of a company that I'm working for. I'd rather speak to, like, my manager or somebody else. That's not. It's too much. It's
Yeah.
intimidating, even though I'm not ever trying to do that. I've always focused on disarming, just to make people feel comfortable. So I think what you're
Yeah.
doing is really, really amazing. I mean, my initial thought, I know all the competitors out there. I think what I would say in terms of the competitors, at least in my space, nobody has experience owning or operating a cleaning business. No one can listen
No.
or speak to the customer. Mostly listen, and even without listening, my own business runs on this platform. It started, and it still has been running on it successfully. Anything that anyone's encountering on it, I'm encountering, just maybe like you are for Pipehire. You're
Yeah.
using it probably yourself. I mean,
Definitely.
that speaks volumes. That's such a different component to owning a business in a niche industry, that you can't really associate with too many other competitors, if any at all. I don't know about your space.
There's a couple of companies, but they are more like consultants,
Yeah,
which helps people, hire people, post ads,
I see. Yeah,
make interviews. But there's no one making a platform to manage the hiring, the management, and the retention of
yep,
employees.
that's amazing.
And
Yeah,
we have software for accounting, for sales, for all these type of things. But I noticed this void in the market, years ago. It's like there's no software for managing the most important part of this business, which is
hire.
people.
Yep, people. Yeah,
There was
and
none
everything
of
that
that.
comes with it. Yeah. Well, because I'm sure you learned over the course of building it out for yourself
Yeah,
and going on this whole crazy ride of ripping it out and selling it to the public that it is just massively complex. I mean,
it's hard. Yeah,
yeah, it's extremely complex, and all the little details, the hundreds of thousands of little details. It's a different ball game. I'm sure that's probably why
yeah,
there hasn't been anyone to step into this space yet, just because again the industry's kind of behind more so than forward, and it takes people like you
definitely.
to take that step forward and put something like this out, which is
Yeah,
phenomenal.
yeah. So that's kind of where Pipehire is going. We have great plans this
Love it.
year for growing it more and reaching not just cleaning businesses, but in general home service companies, because
Yeah,
a landscaping company has the same
same.
issues.
Hmm.
Yeah, HVAC company has the same issues, and we've learned that the hiring component, it's especially for home service companies, it's unique. It's different. Like for a retailer, it's different than for
It is. It is.
I don't know. Marketing agency is different. So we're really making our product a big bet on just home services, and the plan is just to make it better and better. So this problem of hiring and retaining people will be solved the best possible way, because it's always going to be there, and is the thing that we're going to have to deal with the most if we want to grow the company, because really employees is what allows you to really
To
grow in
grow. Yeah.
sales.
There's nothing else that you can't
Nothing
take
else.
more jobs on without having a person to actually do them. And
Correct.
so, yeah, no, you're
Correct.
absolutely right. I totally agree. I mean, have you ever explored? I know you mentioned Zapier,
Mhm.
which, by the way, we have our Zapier integration has been in review for 5 months, 6 months now.
Oh, wow.
It's
Takes a
terrible,
long
man.
time.
So it took a long time to build it and build all the
Yeah.
connectors and submit it. It's been in review since the summer, and so
Oh my
we even
gosh.
stopped talking about it because we know initially they projected a month or something, and so
Right.
we started making announcements and doing all this and that to customers, and months passed, not just 1 month. And we're constantly reaching out to them. We're constantly begging them for an update. Very
Yeah.
vague. Approaching holidays, literally just said we're going to be even less available. A few updates throughout that course of 6 months to tell us like, hey,
Yeah.
we're halfway through, or we're in the jobs module, or we're in the technicians at this point. Like they were progressing very incredibly slow. I mean,
Wow.
in addition
That's good.
to you building
That's
that
good for me
integration
to
out.
know.
So what we did is, and you can look at, you probably look at this in just a matter of like 5 minutes. But what we did is like people kept asking like Zapier, Zapier, Zapier. I've never experienced such a lag or whatever is going on internally with them. I've never seen that before because we've integrated with plenty of other people that are, companies and
Mhm.
stuff that are that communicate. They're working on it. They're helping us. We figured out that we needed to look for an alternative. Make.com came up, which is a competitor to Zapier. Same
Already.
connectors, cheaper. Um, uh, I don't remember if there were any downsides. I don't think there was any downsides. Make.com. And so
I'm
we
looking over
literally
here.
built out an integration for them, with them, submitted it, and it will be approved. They updated us today, actually. I think, like a week or two from now, and we submitted it mid-December.
Wow.
So,
It's good to
in other
know.
words, yeah, because you mentioned that, and I every day on our daily stand-ups, which I'm still a part of, I go in there and I ask about Zapier and Make.com updates. It
Yeah.
is absolutely ridiculous. And I know that people ask for Zapier. Everyone knows Zapier. Make.com, same
Yeah.
same connections for applications and stuff as well. So
Wow.
really good alternative to get your foot into the door. So if you come to me and you say like,
Because
yeah,
it's
exactly.
really just connecting two pieces of software. We don't care what's in the middle. Could be Zapier or Make, but the
Exactly.
important thing
Yes.
is to move data, right?
Yeah, to get them connected to your platform, to get them connected
Yeah.
to, Gusto for payroll, or whatever other platforms and apps that
Yeah.
are on there. So super good alternative, very
Thank you.
much better response time on our end, at least from like a development perspective, more
Right.
communication, very fast, what's it called? Like very fast approval process.
Cool. Thank you for letting me know that, because
Yeah.
we're working on that, and we didn't know it will take so long. And obviously,
Terrible.
I guess your product is big. I mean, when you have all these components, it's big. So I think that adds to that as well.
It could be. It's hard to say. They're so vague, and I don't want you to, if that's something on a roadmap for like Q2 or something to be out by Q2, it's going to be
Q4.
Like, yeah, it's going to be Q4, because we're from Q2 last year we submitted ours. So whatever that backlog on their end looks like is going to be, and your platform is also complex and complicated. It's big.
Yeah.
So it's going to take a while for them to check it. And not only that, but I think you end up going into like once you're approved, you end up going into a beta mode where you're allowing customers to test on your platform. You're working with Zapier. Same for Make.com, by the way. You're in beta mode where people can test, and you're working with their teams to fix or update or monitor or sort of have this like hypercare going on for any issues. So it is a process, and most of our customers don't understand. None of them really do.
So technically, if we talk about doing some type of integration between your system and my system, technically we could use something like Make, right?
We could, but for me, even if we're both on the platform, which should take about 2 years from now, collectively by the time we both get approved, which realistically, like long before that, there's so much value, I feel like, from merging two of these things together, which is a CRM scheduling component and like a hiring. And it's not just hiring, obviously, but just a platform that helps people do that second most important, or that first one of two most important things, which is manage your people and hire people. I don't think that even exists on the market as of right now. So for me, there's a lot of value in trying to figure something out in terms of some sort of integration outside of Zapier. Just one being
through our APIs could be that we could make that happen. Now let's talk about kind of the needs of your customers. Obviously, the big need is I need to find people, I need to hire people. What do you see, or how do you see Pipehire helping your customers and adding value to your product? Because technically you could send them my way and say, okay, use Pipehire, but the ideal situation will be that because Maidily has an integration with Pipehire, there is more value for your product, and people will say, Jobber doesn't have that, but Maidily does, so let me use it because it's helping me with the biggest pain. And I don't know what comes to your mind, if you have something maybe in your head or not, but I mean that's the way I imagine that will make your product more valuable.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. I mean, it's a huge pain point. Can customers go to this platform, and can customers that have a grip on hiring go to a scheduling software? Can you refer back and forth? Yeah, absolutely. But combining something that hasn't been done before gives somebody an all-in-one solution. Like, it's whether it's an integration where there's a component that it exists in Maidily, or whether it's they click and switch into Pipehire for their hiring needs and management needs, and they click and switch back into Maidily for their scheduling needs and components. Whatever that looks like, obviously the possibilities are endless, because your team, my team, they can build whatever, design whatever, they can build whatever. There's no limits to that. It's just whatever we would feel like would be most beneficial to people. And for me, it would be, I know for a fact, it would be something that provides them an all-in-one solution. They don't want to use two different apps, even though they can, for example. They want everything on their one screen with one login, for example. They can switch easily.
I was thinking on like probably we could technically put, hiring component on your product, and they will click, and then within an iframe, we could load our funnel or something like that, or just kind of on a top section or something that will says, switch to Pipehire, and they could just
Yes,
switch
exactly. Yes.
back and forth without leaving the browser, without logging into another system.
Yes.
That way they will make it easy for them to see the hiring part.
Yeah, because it's two different components, right? And your platform is very complex.
Yeah.
Even putting some aspect of it in an iframe, if not the whole thing, would probably just
Yeah,
lessen the experience,
that's
overall. And
true.
it's two different parts of the business, but it's still for the entire business. It's still two different departments, two different necessities, but they're all under that umbrella of the business. And it really just, I kind of actually love the idea of just being able to click into hiring, click into scheduling, and it loads one platform, loads the
Or
other.
the other.
There is nothing, even I think what I realize is not only is the industry itself behind,
Yeah.
like the actual cleaning industry, but also our niche from a tech perspective, from like a SaaS perspective,
Yeah.
is behind as well. There is just, I know the owners and
Oh,
the competitors of my other platforms, of the other competitors that are in the space as well. They don't touch anything. I know what they're doing. I've spoken to them. Everything's
yeah.
great, but they're not touching their platforms. They're not evolving. They're not pushing the limits. The rest of them, the bigger ones like Jobber, you mentioned Jobber.
Yeah.
That's not really our direct competitor. They exist in many, many, many different industries, and they don't have a
That's true.
focus on one of them. So we get a lot of their customers. They're like, yeah, it seemed cool on paper at first, and it's catchy, but they're all over the place, right? They've templated
All
whatever they started
industries.
with. Yeah, they've templated it: pet walking, pool cleaning, window washing. You
Yeah.
can't you can't pull that off and expect that, $10 million. I'm sure there's plenty of successful companies. My point is we get a lot of their customers because we're a niche SaaS
Product
platform specifically for
for
this
mates.
industry, and people love that. And it doesn't exist, or like a full turnkey product as of right now doesn't exist. And Jobber itself doesn't even have hiring capabilities.
No, and not even, I mean, not even online booking.
No, no, they
And
don't.
they have this quote, request a quote still
Yeah,
with, I don't
terrible
know,
form.
thousands of customers and millions of dollars in revenue, and the
Yeah,
product's still pretty much the same as, years ago. They
it
haven't
is.
much done any improvement. So, sometimes it takes the smaller guys like us to really change something, because, we can take chances and improve and innovate. And sometimes they just can't, because they have to move a big ship of people
And
towards
it
a
could break.
direction.
Yeah.
They could break, and they have thousands of millions of, I guess, jobs in the system, and if something fails, it's a big mess. So
It's catastrophic. Yeah, no, I think you're right, and that's why this is exciting, because there's just a lot of opportunity to come in and do something that hasn't been done, which is what I've really been kind of searching for. Like last year, we're kind of finishing up with just product maturity, just kind of reaching that stage where we've caught up to everyone. Jobber's older than us. Everyone's older than us, right? It takes
yeah,
time to catch up. You just keep
totally.
adding, and it takes years to catch up.
Yep.
They fortunately have all stopped, and they've been stopped. And so as soon as we figured that out 2 years ago, we were like, oh crap, like no one's doing anything. I've talked to these business owners, and I know exactly what they're doing.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what, 7-year gap, we're going to bridge it in like a year and a half too. And then we just went full force into functions, roadmap, just craziness. But we're reaching this product maturity level at this point where honestly we've literally caught up, and will be caught up once we reach this phase in probably end of Q2 with all of our competitors. And I really, really want to focus on doing something that just doesn't exist, and really have a no-brainer reason why you should, for example, use both of these platforms. Use you and me if you're in our industry, or people are coming to you for
Yeah.
the current industry which you're in is cleaning still. So it should be a no-brainer, because whichever way you go, this won't exist at all.
Correct.
All the features are here for my platform. All the features they need for you are there on your platform. Outside of that, the one thing that just legitimately nobody has is this huge advantage of having both sides of the equation sort of exist in one place, and you don't have to
Correct.
log in and
That's
out. Like
that's
it's
the
it's
word.
killer,
Both
man.
sides of the equations. Both sides of the equation. Because that's really the balancing act of these two components. So
hey, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment on this video and tell us what was your biggest takeaway of the interview. Also, follow us on Instagram at Pipehire HRM and join our Facebook group so you can learn how to hire, manage, and retain more employees in your home service business. Hey, before you go, if you're planning on hiring and growing your headcount and revenue for your home service business, check out pipehirehrm.com.